Oyonnax, Oyonnax, Oyo, Plastics Valley, and proud of it. From boxwood to horn to plastic, artisans in the Oyonnax Valley brought their expertise from one material to the other, and they became internationally recognised experts. In 1870, the Hyatt brothers invented cellulose, and business was booming for the Oyonnax artisans who were manufacturing combs, hair ornaments, hair clips, and hair pins. This went on until the 1920s, when short hair became fashionable for women. The Oyonnaxians adapted, and they produced toys, buttons, buckles, and hat pins. And they also worked as subcontractors for Murray, putting plastic sheets on metal frames. They also produced frames in celluloid. These tended to catch fire, unfortunately. But in 1936, Ron Poulenc invented rhodoid. And in 1937, Wallace Carothers invented injected nylon. Never had quite the same shine as the acetate, but that's another story. The Second World War followed. Everyone struggled, but Oyonnax probably did better than most because it was outside occupied territory. Some Mauritian producers moved to Oyonnax, and German and Eastern European companies went under during this period, so Oyonnax was ready to emerge from the ashes. In 1944 and after, the American way of life was all the rage. And the way they applied aesthetics to industrial products greatly influenced Europe and the eyewear business. The aviator frames worn by pilots during the war represented freedom, and the ultra-cool Wayfarer followed in 1952. This particular one was made in Oyonnax. Hollywood stars started to wear birds on their frames, flowers on their frames, and introduced pastel and bright colours. It was all about freedom. Georges Bollé, Jules Bouvier, Félix Grasset, Henri Guillet and Victor Gros were determined to make the most of this. So off they went to America. From dressing the head and the hair to the face and the eyes, only a short lateral slide was required. No pun intended. From prosthetics to fashion accessory, cat's eyes and butterflies left Oyonnax in their millions. This was a period when a 25,000 first pair order was the norm. An elderly manufacturer told me when I arrived in 1991, "I speak English. What colour, what price, what size, what quantity?" And he wasn't joking. Factories were built and production simply couldn't keep up. Mistakes were made. All worked as subcontractors, most with just one big customer. This brought growth and fragility. Paulette Guinet was a designer that emerged on the scene, the swinging 60s, and she brought an eye for style and all the know-how from her parents' hair ornament company. Frames like these behind me are from her, and her frames are highly prized and coveted. This was something she designed for a Silmo. It was just to design her booth and her stand. An extremely creative woman. One company stands head and shoulders above the rest. Alongside Persol, Ray-Ban and Oakley, Bollé was the only company that made it internationally outside of Oyonnax and is recognised by the general public. Bollé was purchased in 2000 by the Bushnell Group, and I briefly worked with them during this transition period. In the 1980s, globalisation, a byword for outsourcing your production to emerging markets, hit hard. And metal came back into fashion with colour coatings. The Italians also began to flex their muscles and wanted international leadership in the eyewear business. This is when Oyonnax paid the price, because they had virtually no brands of their own. Now, there are a few brands that are still there, like Grasset, Gros Filet and Roussel, and there are some fantastic subcontractors like Optison, Lucal and Halatsis. Oyonnax, more so than Moret, played a role in promoting French eyewear with their spectacular designs and eye-catching frames. If you liked the video, please press like and check out my website www.lunetx.com.